Kayfabe Avenue.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please. Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in. But the cream rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, heels and faces, casual wrestling fans, and all you smart marks. I'm Kayfabe AJ,
Kayfabe focus.
and this is Kayfabe Avenue. Tonight, we're bringing you the all-in review. So we're about, 24 hours removed from it. It was a long card. It was a card that was finalized, at maybe within the last few seconds up to Collision, I believe, the day before. But overall, I think Tony pulled off a great show. We're gonna run through the card, talk about our little predictions that we had. We had a prediction show previously. Go check that out on all streaming platforms and on YouTube. Um,
Yeah, go like and
so
share and subscribe that.
what was that?
Go like, share, and subscribe that.
Yeah, go like, share, and subscribe that, like Focus said. Where do you want to start? Before we get into the card, anything to say about the actual show itself?
I think it was great. It wasn't monumental, it didn't have like a monumental card, but I felt like at points the crowd was kind of dead. It wasn't as loud as I thought it was gonna be. And, maybe we could attribute that to, they didn't have enough production for the microphones for everybody and everything, but I don't know, maybe that's growing pains or something, but it seems like there was all of these matches that was built up last second and nobody was really hyped for them and they were just there just to be there.
Yeah, so that was that was kind of my feeling throughout the night. Like you can tell that the fans were going crazy. They were like, but I think like you said, the production issues, specifically like audio, it felt like at times it was a dead crowd. Like you couldn't hear anything besides the actual in-ring action. So I don't know if it was the dome, because it was like a half dome uh with the roof open. So I don't know. The acoustics in there probably were off as well. Um but I can tell you that the crowd was definitely going nuts, but they should have definitely stepped up a little bit in the audio department just to make sure that they could capture that, because you're comparing this to WrestleMania. You're comparing this as, well, the greatest show put out. They hit
The best in the
81,
world.
what was it? 81,000, about 37. They hit the highest paid attendance in an event ever. So, that's pretty big. And for the fans out there that are gonna say, "What?" But WWE attributes everyone who's actually in the building, crew, concessions, everyone who, people who didn't actually pay for the event itself. So those numbers are kind of inflated. That's why Tony, throughout this whole run, and especially in the press conference after All In finished, he hit the note multiple times, paid live in attendance. So that's the difference between the record and the records that WWE set forward in, specifically like WrestleMania 3, Andre versus Hogan. I think they said it was about 100 and something thousand fans, or 90 something thousand fans. And a couple WrestleManias ago, I think it was in 2016, I believe. But Tony hit that, note hard. So for an event like this, I think they should have really stepped up in the audio department. And I feel like some of the entrances were great. Not too many, turned up moments. They mostly, changes in music, a couple of pyros, but I'm talking about the theatrics of like a Mania. If you're gonna compare it to a show like that, I think the only thing that All In itself was missing was maybe like cameos from different celebrities, or even though we had what was his name in the corner by the
What's
ring,
that gun?
West Side Gun, yeah. So we had West Side Gun in clear camera view damn near the entire time. So there were people there. They should have highlighted that specifically. Like, hey, look who's in the crowd. Pan out, try to get
All
some
of the
celebrity,
celebrities.
try to get some celebrity interaction. Even though maybe that's hard because they're in London. They probably think an American celebrity, but I'm pretty sure they could have got somebody from London, some celebrities from out there. You know, kind of hit geared towards that. I think that would have hyped it up and brought it to that level of WrestleMania. But for the show itself, it was really good. Crowd was they were packed from the beginning. I've never seen a pre-show that filled ever in
Oh,
my
never.
experience. So they were really packed in. You could tell that was not an inflated number. There was an ass in every seat. So
It looked like they could
let's
put more people too.
you think they put more people?
You could
Oh
on the
yeah,
floor.
that's what I was telling you. Like it looked like, especially in the rows on the field, they gave too much space for people to leave. Like, I would have threw it in. Like we're gonna try to hit 90. Maybe next year, they're gonna do it because Tony in the scrum, the media scrum, he confirmed that this is gonna be an annual event, all in on their bank holiday, and then a week later, all out in America. So this is going to be tradition that AEW setting out to do going forward. So that's pretty good.
So you want to do all out and all in next year?
Hell no. It's one or the other. It is one or the other. You got to go to London, right? And then a week later, we got to go to Chicago. Yeah, that's a lot. It's definitely a lot. But maybe who knows? Who knows? I know I'm going to WrestleMania.
That's
That's
a
already locked
nine.
in. So that'll be a lot. WrestleMania all in London. Yeah, it was. If I was going to one of it has to be all in London. So let's get into the beginning of the match, the beginning of the match cards, and we started with MJF and Adam Cole versus,
Zero.
yeah, the Zero. I don't know. I feel like should have called it the Zero Hour. I think
It's
it's
the
a little demeaning.
pre-show, and then they
But
also had they had the YouTube show before this as well, which was the pre-show to the pre-show. So remember that. So
that's one thing I will say. It was a lot of hours. I know the show itself was about 5 hours. Pre-show probably like 6, 7. But
a lot of content.
so we start off with MJF and Adam Cole versus the Aussie Open for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. Now, in our prediction show, we kind of, especially me, I was kind of like, I don't know how it's gonna go because I feel like because them two, MJF and Adam Cole, are gonna end up having the AEW Championship match for the main event as well in the same card. It was like, all right, this affects the main event in a big way. Like if they turn on each other at this point, what the hell's gonna happen in the main event? So um it was a lot in the air. I know I definitely got that one wrong. I thought one of them was probably gonna start the tension there and lead into the main event to bring the tension even more. I like what they did instead though. They ended up
Yeah.
winning legitimately with the double clothesline. I'm pissed off that I walked
Double
away for a
clothesline.
second, and that's when I heard. I'm like, "Don't tell me they hit the double clothesline and won just now." Like, damn it! So I missed it in live, but that's what happened. Yeah, man, history. I missed the first pay-per-view double clothesline for them. So they end
Wow.
up winning. This affected the main event. We'll get more into that later, but for me, for a lot of time watching All In, I think the next match on the pre-show, Hook versus Jack Perry, it was like almost a show stealer. It was
It
it was
definitely was.
arguably it was arguably one of the better matches for a long time throughout the night until we'll get into that later. But
I feel like the
I was
placement was pretty
judging
good
the
though.
I was judging most of that night based on the Jack Perry and Hook match.
I thought the Jack
So
Perry and Hook match was pretty good though.
no, so that so if I'm talking early, I got to give credit where it's due. That aspect of like big things happening on the stage where you're trying to compare it to WrestleMania. I did like the fact that they brought the limo in, left it on the stage. That became something they utilized in the fight. And Jack Perry ends up doing a controversial thing, which at the moment I didn't think it was a controversial thing until I was informed that I guess he had a beef with CM Punk over using glass, or
Yeah,
CM Punk warned them a
yeah,
few weeks ago on Collision not to use glass or something like that, use fake
yeah.
glass. So in one of the spots, he's gonna throw Hook through the windshield, suplex him into the windshield. Before he does that, he looks in the camera and says, "It's real glass. Cry me a river," looking dead
Yeah.
into the camera. So I'm thinking it's for the theatrics of the match. I had no idea it was tied to any CM Punk beef, but um he ends up doing it, and I guess CM Punk was right. It ends up cutting his arm. He got sliced. He had like two gashes on his
I
arm.
mean,
Hook
I mean,
had
maybe
some damage on him.
that's what Jack Perry wanted, to cut his arm open or something. He wanted to get that color to make that match look like it's better than what it was. Get that extra hype going.
I mean, it worked for him because, like I said, I was pretty much judging the rest of the night. That was the match that kind of popped me going in, and it did its job. Zero Hour made me excited for the rest of the show, and it set the standard until later on in the night. So,
Yeah, I mean, he's going to the School of Hard Knocks with John Moxley and stuff like that. I'm sure backstage trying to get his hardcore
well,
point
he's
up and
wearing the
everything.
jeans and he's shirtless like John Moxley in the ring now.
Got
So,
the sunglasses and the hair to the back and everything. He's still missing Anna Jay, which I don't know why he didn't come out with her today.
yeah, I think if like we said before in the prediction show, I think he definitely needs to utilize Anna Jay. They both can use it at the end of the day. It'd be beneficial for both. It's like Tay Conti and Sammy Guevara. Even though I think in Tay Conti's situation, it was a detriment to her a little bit because she didn't wrestle as much, but she was in the spotlight.
Yeah,
And Anna Jay's pretty much, sitting around. No offense to Anna Jay, but we want to see more of her, and it's not a lot.
no,
She's not fed a lot. So
like the Jericho Appreciation Society hasn't really done much for her, in my opinion.
I mean, it didn't do much for
Anybody.
really anybody. You know, it's all right. But I agree. Jack Perry should probably start utilizing Anna Jay, and they should try to bump each other up the card and get more character development. But in the prediction show, I did go for Hook, but I'm surprised that Taz had no involvement storyline wise. He stood to the job as a commentator. I thought, the history of the FTW championship, but I guess he knew Hook was gonna have it in the bag. So Hook pulls out the victory. Well, once again, FTW champion. They did not retire it.
The two
So
time.
What would you rate the actual match?
So that I consider that match. It was like a very Rock and Hulk Hogan type of match where there was like a whole bunch of hype and everything. And if it wasn't for the crowd, it was just been like a normal basics match. They really didn't do anything that special besides going through that glass and
Yeah.
stuff. So I really didn't. There wasn't anything that was like, oh wow, that's crazy, or
I guess
anything that was like,
it was more the story going in and the way they started, ran to each other. They didn't even start in the ring. So,
it was like playing
a lot of
2K when
aggression.
the character goes up to the ramp. Remember in 2K when
It did look exactly like 2K. It did.
so
It was like somebody pressed X. Somebody pressed X and he
And then
ran
they
up.
started beating his ass on the limo.
So coming out of that situation, I guess once the match was over, Jack Perry in the back, there's rumors that he either approached CM Punk or CM Punk approached him and they had a little argument
They
or
had a
got
little tussle,
physical. They got physical or
a
something, and
quarrel.
it's right now it seems like they've been suspended until pending an investigation on what's going
Yeah,
on. This is
yeah.
exactly a year removed from when everything happened with CM Punk and the Elite. It's like history just keeps biting CM Punk in the ass. Like
It's not CM Punk, it's Tony Khan.
it, Tony needs to put his foot down and stop letting the stardom of CM Punk overshadow what's happening between him and the rest of the roster. I mean, if it's one or two people, okay, but the entire Elite and a few others in the back, we had
The
what's
whole
his
pudding
name?
gang.
We had the Hollywood Hunk get pretty much kicked out of Collision because CM Punk had an issue with him on Twitter or X. Like it's ridiculous already. CM Punk wants to be the veteran that I guess instills his knowledge, but if some people are not receptive, go on about your business. Let them fail. You gave him the advice to use a certain type of glass so you don't hurt yourself. He went against it and he has the damage for it. These people want to cut their careers short or don't want to have the longevity of, a lot of major stars. That is their decision at the end of the day. You can't be the martyr for everyone. You can't be the hero for everybody. CM Punk has to be CM Punk, and you got to let everyone else be everyone else. I can understand the Elite. They're all friends, so they probably like-minded going against CM Punk. But at the end of the day, all the others are just pandering to the Elite. I don't I don't think that's that's you know the narrative that's happening.
I don't
So
think that's the narrative happening. I think Tony Khan needs to hurry up and get everything into shape. Either split the roster. Anybody who wants to work with CM Punk goes with the CM Punk Collision crowd, and everybody who want to work with the Elite stay with the Elite crowd, and just give CM Punk Ring of Honor, I guess, and then have give Elite all Elite wrestling. That's basically what you have to do.
I guess I mean
There's nothing else that you really can
CM
do right
Punk. I
now.
don't think CM Punk is gonna be willing to do that because let's be real. The show
That's
is AEW. AEW is the show right now when it
I
comes
mean
to
I
the
mean
the
yeah
new face
yeah
of
yeah
wrestling.
AEW's the show right now, but technically speaking, Ring of Honor is a name that he brought up. CM Punk brought up. When you think of Ring of Honor, the first thing you really think of is Samoa Joe, CM Punk, maybe AJ Styles, Austin Aries, you
Yeah, but
know, maybe Roddy.
it's the things that Ring of Honor doesn't have, like the national broadcast channel. It doesn't have the exposure that AEW has right now. So I doubt that
And he
CM
could
Punk is
bring
gonna
that.
want to. He
He could bring
could,
that.
he could, but I doubt he's gonna want to have to be the shoulder, the real shoulder to carry that entire thing. And half the roster hates you
Yeah.
or is having altercations with you. So
And be like
that's a
that. Tell
legit
him
thing that happened.
it could be the CM Punk Thunder Rosa roster.
You see, and see, you bring that up, and that just stirs up a whole bunch of other shit because it that is clear example of picking and choosing.
Yeah.
Evilise and Thunder Rosa have an issue, you fire Evilise because of history, whatever. CM Punk is literally doing 10 times worse, and this man is the real,
Rock and roll.
the real champ. Like, come on. Like, you just got me a little bit angry at Tony Khan for pointing that shit out. Like,
And be like that
yo,
sometimes.
for real. Because meanwhile, Evilise is a whole
Tony
potential
Khan
superstar for them. That could have
needs
been the
to get his
biggest
shit together.
rivalry for the women at that time. Could have did a lot with it, but
He
instead,
still could bring her back.
but has he? Has he tried? Thunder
He
Rosa
could
ain't
bring a lot of
around. She's
he
injured.
could bring
She's
a
been
lot
gone for a long time.
he
There's
could bring
two
a lot of
rosters
people
now.
he could bring a lot of people back since everybody's injured, bro.
Yeah. Oh,
Basically half the roster's
we have
basically
a new
injured.
policy because of CM Punk. If y'all got beef, you just pick a show.
Facts.
Just pick a fucking show. But let's move on from that. Tony Khan did. I want to say Tony Khan did admit that there was an altercation that something did happen. So
Good.
that's not speculation. What is speculation is the actual details of how it transpired and what exactly transpired. But it led to both of them being suspended. The match itself, Hook versus Jack Perry, I give it about a 7.5. It was a good start.
It was good.
Um,
It was good.
so let's move on to the actual All In. And
We going all in into all in.
all in into All In. What is your favorite match in
My
All In?
favorite
What was your
match.
favorite match in All In? Let's just go there. Let's just go
Ooh,
there.
ooh, I don't know. I think it would have to be MJF and Adam Cole.
Yeah, definitely. But we'll
They
get more into that. We'll get more into that. But I'm leaning there. That was definitely my favorite, one of my favorite matches. But um, there was a lot going on here. Let's start off with speaking of
we
a
gonna
lot
have to
going on.
dissect everything.
Let's start with the Stadium Stampede
Well, that was the
rating.
first match. That wasn't the
No,
first
no, it
match.
wasn't. It wasn't. I'm just going through the card.
Okay.
Yeah, but what do you think about the Stadium Stampede?
Stadium Stampede. I liked it a lot. It was awesome. I was going into it thinking that it was gonna suck, but they turned it from a Stadium Stampede into like
A death match.
a 5-on-5 death match, and I feel like that was very needed. As a lot of the death match fans in AEW don't really get that type of content, especially since the W that's not the WB, yeah, one of the boards doesn't really like that type of action. So I feel like, it was good to broadcast it there.
So I'm gonna just get my issues with it. I'm gonna just put them out there so we could get to the good stuff. John Moxley offended my vision by
The
allowing himself to get stabbed with a whole bunch of freaking shish kebab
skewers.
sticks,
A shish
skewers.
a shishka mox?
He was a
Shishka
shishka
mox?
mox. It was mox kebab.
A mox kebab?
We had a mox kebab. Literally about, I want to say there was at least 40 of them in his hand. And it was like, okay, you stabbed him with it,
It was a
but the
unicorn.
intention was to make sure it stood up. So it was like they kept hitting him with it. Like, that was too much for my vision.
It was unicorn.
that was so the Stadium Stampede to me was the fun and campy, yes, hardcore. And I said in the prediction show that, well, I was going for the Blackpool Combat Club, and I told you that these guys are gonna murder these boys, and that's what it was for
That was
like
a whole assault right there.
literally for the whole like first 10 minutes. They were just destroying the best friends, and I'm sitting back. Why? And it's leaning into my issues with this, and I'm like, damn, Orange Cassidy and these guys are getting their ass whooped. But why is that? Because Penta left to go change. Not only that, where the fuck did Eddie Kingston go? Them
He was getting
two,
a smoke break.
them two disappeared. And I don't know if it was the chaoticness of the multicam, people everywhere, that's probably really hard to film perfectly. And for the viewers at home to grasp everything that's happening. But when you stop and go dual screen, oh, by the way, Wheeler did this. and put somebody through a barricade, and then they just went away,
That's
and
so
we
funny.
forgot about Wheeler for a while.
And it's like, yo, they could have taped that like weeks ago.
Weeks ago.
That
You
could have
should have
been weeks
added,
ago.
you should have added these segments so the chaoticness made at least sense. Film the parts in the crowd, show the crowd, do the things, but
You gotta have some type of organized chaos to do these things.
something. Yo,
Time
it was
like yo, at
hard
this
to
time, this goes there, this goes that. This is
yeah,
what's gonna happen at this time. Then this you gotta be here at this certain time.
it was
Like
none of that.
it's gotta be. It has to be like Mousetrap.
It was none of that. It was I mean, it did what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to be chaos. It was supposed to be all over the place. I didn't think it was supposed to be as bloody and as gruesome. Like, and that's not even an over exaggeration. It's not literally, it was gruesome as shit. Um Overall, good match though. I did enjoy it.
Great match.
Great match. I did enjoy it, but it should have been marketed as a 5-on-5 death match. Because that's what the fuck it was. It wasn't a stadium stampede. Nothing was funny about that shit. Except for maybe Sue coming out for no reason.
And then John Moxley kissed her.
Yeah, I get it. Sue's been a part of it. It's a running joke with the best friends, but it was. I don't think they executed it well.
That was dumb.
They gave. She pulled up in a van. Nobody pulled up to help, and your weapons of choice was cookie sheets, aluminum cooking trays. That was it. You didn't have nothing in the back. Like,
you had Shibata. You ain't had
nothing.
Keith Lee. None of the super best friends.
You had
That's you.
yeah. You like all the super best friends again. Nope, nobody came. Just Sue got kissed by Moxley. I thought he shoved her. That's how it looked at first, but on second review, he ended up kissing her. But funny yet not needed. It was like if the whole match was scattered with those funny moments, cool. But this was a fucking death match. At the end of the day, you just stop to like, oh hey, Cookies and Sue. All right back to just murdering these boys. But the best friends ended up pulling off the victory after
Out of nowhere.
Pentagon comes out as Cinco de Oro or whatever the hell they call him, right? And it literally
Penta de
was
Mayo. You said
what?
Penta de Mayo.
Penta de Mayo, whatever you want to call them. At this point, I'm sorry, we got to get our cornet off a little bit because that was crazy. You were gone for like 10, 15 minutes. You were gone. Like these boys were getting murdered. And it's only because you guys were missing. And then there's no explanation for Eddie Kingston being missing. But he shows up with blood on his forehead. How'd that happen? Do you
And
remember?
I think he got hit by a bottle or something in the
I don't know
head.
I don't know what the hell happened. And that was my
I don't
problem
know.
with
He
it.
must have been smoking that wet or something.
That was my only problem. But everything in between the actual action, even though I said it visually offended my eyes, that shit was
They were
crazy
using
to
a
see.
fork.
He had pulled out a fork out of his pocket.
Broken glass.
You could tell Mox is a hungry ass dude to be carrying around forks. It's always snack time when Mox is around. But it was it was definitely worth a watch. And I think it needs a disclaimer before the match starts for the people with sensitive eyes. You know, that Mox kebab that's not gonna get out of my head for a long time. I give this about a 8.5. Yeah, I don't think it hits the classic because there's things that I don't even know what happened, and I watched the whole thing. So, maybe more clarity on what the fuck happened to Eddie Kingston and why it was necessary to change your clothes when these guys are literally bleeding all over the stadium.
It'd be like that sometimes.
But we do see Orange Cassidy put off the win after Eddie Kingston finally arrives with a busted open head. He ends up spearing Moxley into barbed wire table. They had a funny moment where they're laying on each other after the match and they're both giving each other the finger because they're friends. And that was my confusion going in. Like, why are you against him just because you hate Claudio? You're against your friend, but you
Yep.
guys like they didn't even want to fight each other really, literally in the match.
That's how it is.
So yeah, it is what it is. It was a good match though. So next up, not in any particular order, but we got the Golden Elite versus Bullet Club Gold.
It was a pretty good match.
It was a pretty good match. It
Like
left people
honestly,
upset.
um, I mean, controversial roll up schoolboy. I guess it made sense to me because that's the only way you can really catch Kenny Omega.
Yeah, I guess. Um, the problem with this match is that I feel like it should have just been better. Like, I don't think it was formatted in a way to really showcase everybody.
Hmm.
Kenny had his moments, but do you really remember a lot of spots from that match?
A couple here and there, but not really.
Not really.
I remember the 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 golden trigger. That was
The Golden Trigger attempts. You know,
yeah.
you had Kota Ibushi back. Like this should have been a way better match. I don't know.
You
Was
know what
this
it
kind
is?
of thrown together
You
or
know what it
something?
is? I think I was out of it because the crowd wasn't really into it either.
That was
It
the
seemed
point where I
like,
was feeling like the
and
crowd
it's
was a little
like
dead.
I feel like everybody is like overlooking that Kota Ibushi's there, and it's like nobody's really explained who he is to the mainstream people, and it's like not everybody can watch like 3,000 episodes of BTE and figure it out and
And go
watch
back
like
in the history of New Japan and Ring of Honor
and
and all
DDT
the Bullet Club connections and
and see all
why
this
is old Bullet
as
Club versus new Bullet Club. We have
as and
why the
see
Golden
why
Lovers are the Golden Lovers. Yeah,
and
they
why
didn't
is
go into
everything
explaining at all.
why is everything gold, as JR said. And
I think
actually
that caps literally my sentiment of
it's
like
funny and it's funny because Kota Ibushi is the reason for gold because he was the golden lover. So this gold in AEW is called Kota Ibushi. Um, Bullet Club gold technically is because it's AEW and it's gold. That's technically uh Kota Ibushi's Bullet Club and stuff like that. And he never even joined Bullet Club officially ever, but he's influenced it a lot. He influenced wrestling a lot.
yeah. I mean I love the stories going back with him and Kenny and that elite run in New Japan and Ring of Honor. But you have to explain that to a lot of people. That's why I feel like the match was kind of lackluster. Like it should have,
You gotta pay New Japan off and be like, listen, let's show some Kota Ibushi matches and something, you know?
or can I have some footage? I want to put 3 videos before All In featuring Coda and everybody in this match, and I want to showcase the history of why it makes sense him and Kenny and Hangman team against these guys because it was
But
basically also lead 2 leaders of Bullet Club going at it. The overshadow and I've been saying that I feel like the Switchblade has been a little overshadowed in his leadership ever since the Elite left New Japan. I don't feel like the Bullet Club really recovered like it used to be. So I feel like this match should have been showcased. Maybe had a little bit more time to do things. The roll up victory from Takashita, or however you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I
Takashita,
Takashita. Sorry, I totally fucked that up. But
Takesha,
Takeshita, there you go. See, you
Takeshita,
even fucked it up. Takeshita.
Takeshita.
The roll up doesn't bother me at all. I just feel like they should have went off a little bit more. Like this was an afterthought like it was a filler in the rest of the card, and that's crazy to me.
Yeah, it really
So
sucked the air out of the whole stadium though. Like
yeah,
everybody was shocked. That was that.
I don't know if they were
That was
already
that. That
going
was
through their
that.
little
Oh shit!
like,
Undertaker bit got pinned moment.
yeah, and they should have showcased that a little bit more
But
too.
you know what?
The
That's good because
disappointment
it just shows that uh Takesta is the new Kenny Omega. He's the new best bout machine.
because of Callis,
His downfallers.
because of Don Fallis. I am done with you. Yo, let's pay the bills real quick. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back after these ads. And we're back. We left off with the Golden Elite versus the Bullet Club Gold. Any last thoughts about that match
I
before we move
thought
on? What do you rate
that
it?
it was gonna be bigger, the ending was gonna be better, but it fell flat. So move it up
Yeah, I'll give it about a 6.
to
um,
5.
it's a 5. Uh, Next up we got Darby Allin and Sting versus Swerve and Christian. What do you think?
I actually thought this was way better than what I thought it was gonna be, and that Christian and Sting is basically carrying the match for these young guys and everything.
I don't think there was much carrying in this match. Surprisingly, a Sting at his age, he's still throwing himself through
He still
tables.
got it.
Like it's amazing. Like a
He's a
few years
phenom.
ago, we were scared that we might not be able to see Sting in the ring again because of the match he had with Seth Rollins. Now look at him. Years later, AEW, he's still jumping off ladders and throwing himself through tables to crash on Swerve, and I don't think Sting surprisingly needs to be carried at all. I'm pretty sure that they they do scale back with how Sting was, obviously, but this was one hell of a match. It was definitely more entertaining than I thought it was going to be going in for sure. And the way that they put Swerve in that casket, does he still have dreads today? Because
Or I
that
think
that
they
casket
chopped it or something.
that casket slammed straight on his dreads. They didn't even realize it. And then on top of that, Darby and Sting end up sitting on top of it. So
Like 5 minutes straight
yeah. But
out of the tank.
Darby Allin is a human car crash, and those coffin drops onto the coffin. The fact that he's getting up and walking after this damn match, I don't know how he can do that move week in and week out and not be injured.
He's gonna be in the wheelchair soon, guaranteed. If he doesn't change it up or
He,
something,
that
because
coffin drop that was the scariest part of the match to me.
because what is that? A hard? That's either hard plastic or like some kind of
That was like
aluminum.
a hard aluminum.
Like ugh, that shit has to hurt. Like
Regardless, the
she
height,
got,
the you
he got, he definitely got the scoliosis.
I mean, he is kind of hunched over when he does that. But overall, great match. I definitely
He's gonna get
got
the
this on like
stenosis.
the
Watch.
higher up. Give it about an 8. Definitely give it about an 8. It was interesting. Still didn't understand why they paired Christian and Swerve when Swerve had a lot of people around him. But overall,
Such a grind
it turned out
cage.
pretty good.
I guess they didn't have their visas and ready and stuff. So
What was that?
I guess they didn't have enough visas ready or whatever for like last minute booking like that.
I mean, I guess not. You know, a lot of people were criticizing, even a little bit myself, like, why did he wait so long for to put the card out? Like, maybe it's a little bit too much, you know, doing all in and then a week later having to do the pay-per-view all out. But I gotta say he did pull off the card really good. It was an interesting show. It was a really good show. So I'm gonna give him a little bit more faith, but I still think he should have, paired someone else with Christian to go against Darby because we see Christian throwing crazy daggers, so he got to get his. He makes the most sense to end up in his casket, but that's neither here nor there. The match ended up turning out to be pretty good. Um, any final thoughts before we move on from that match?
Nope.
Anything stand
Just
out?
no, nothing. Just Christian about to probably gonna berate some young kids about not having a father soon.
All right, the next one on the card: Chris Jericho versus Will Ospreay, the home country hero. Will Ospreay. What do you think about the match?
I thought it was kind of slower than what Will Ospreay usually does, but it just shows the versatility of Will Ospreay, and it was a great match. Should have been for the IWGP UK title, but
I think
it
something
is
that
what it
you
is.
said in the middle of us watching it hit the nail on the head. This was Will Ospreay's WWE match.
Yeah,
Like, if there was ever a tryout for the style of WWE, this was it because I love Chris Jericho. He's the GOAT, he's the Ocho, he's all these things. But this was the first time ever that I said out loud, like, wow, Will Ospreay's carrying Jericho. Jericho looks like he was giving the orders of what's happening next, but Osprey had to slow himself down to fit Jericho's style.
definitely.
They pulled off a good match. I enjoyed it. Will Osprey ends up winning this match. That was who I, predicted was gonna win. I think it just does more for Osprey winning this match than it does for Jericho. Jericho doesn't need this win. He's already solidified. And right now, the current state of his storyline, as far as losing kind of everyone around him, he lost 3 in a row, which they did, you know, showcase at the end with Sammy Guevara coming out, trying to, help Jericho, trying to get him to, still leave with confidence in himself. And Jericho kind of pushed him away and walked off on his own, doing the kick the stairs and damn it, fuck, saying fuck all the time on his way back. So storyline wise, this is where I saw Jericho coming out of this, and um yeah, I think I was
Bad
spot
Luck
on.
Jericho,
What was that?
Bad Luck Jericho storyline.
The yeah, the battle of Jericho. Jericho versus himself. So good overall match. I'll give it about a 7. That was pretty dope. Next up
Yeah,
we
that's pretty good.
have the House of Black versus the Acclaim, and everyone loves the Acclaim. This is the return of badass Billy Gunn. And was it always spelled with 2 D's? That was my question. Going in, was this
I think it.
his way around
I think that's
gimmick
his way around
infringement?
it. I think that's his way around it.
Yeah, because I don't know if I mean, maybe Vince has been working a little bit better with AEW recently. They shared some footage and stuff. Maybe they smoothed it over, but I never realized that he spelled it with 2 D's, but he does now, if that's the case, and maybe that's the way to get around copyrights. I don't know. But the match itself, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Typical match between these teams. We got to see the Acclaim hit every one of their finishers to close this out and beat the House of Black. The what stood out to me most and what I love as far as the theatrics and when you enjoy theatrics and wrestling, House of Black is one of those groups that you can kind of expect that from. I love the Bray Wyatt tribute. They had the Fireflies in the crowd. I love their costumes. The masks were sick. The whole package altogether. I love what they did with that entrance. It felt like a big show for me in that moment. Which again, I feel as big as the show is, presentation, the added factors, the cameos, the theatrics of it all, like these are elements that they need to really focus on and like double down on in the next All In London. Like they need to up their budget. Like, this is the show. Like, we did it last time. We're gonna do it bigger than last time. You know, this is where you do it right. And House of Black, they did it right. Again, love the Bray Wyatt tribute. It was awesome, but it was also awesome at the end. Even after losing the trios titles, they snatched them from the Acclaim, but still hand them over out of respect. So that's pretty dope. That's something I haven't seen the House of Black do in any of their rivalry. So that's an I guess another win for the homegrown talent of the Acclaim.
Yeah, I think the Acclaim did a really good job um in this match, showcasing why they're one of the best tag teams in the world. And I'm glad that they finally got the trios championship. Like I said, they're probably gonna face the Bullet Club at All Out. We'll see what happens in Wednesday or in Collision or whenever. So, but I digress. I think the House of Black should, now that they dropped the trios, they should go after other titles now. Like, I would love to see maybe um the House of Black going after the international title, the TNT title, or maybe the tag team titles. Maybe feud with FTR a little
I
bit,
think one of them, especially Malachi, needs to step up in that heavyweight division. I
and then
think
on top of
that
that, there's
stable needs to be solidified as a main event heavyweight stable.
and if they really wanted to, they could go to Ring of Honor and get those titles too. And feud with whoever has those titles at the time. Like right now, it's MJF and Adam Cole, so you could do a House of Black versus Adam Cole and MJF. So we'll see, how that happens. But I think that it was a great match, and Tony Khan's gonna have to start spending the big bucks to keep all of these wrestlers that have the big pops and all in the stadium, like the Acclaim does. Because it was a really giant scissoring party
Yeah, they definitely
at Wembley.
showed and proved that their gimmick and their reaction is definitely earned. The crowd is behind them. That was one of the matches that we didn't have to question if the crowd was into it, or why is it so quiet. That was the Claim definitely blew the roof off the building. And them three winning the trios titles, that's something that even before the trios championships were in existence, that you were kind of like leaning towards, like, they should do this, like they should put them first. Is going to be the Elite, they're going to win the belts to start, which did happen, and then the Claim, they're gonna win it. So it didn't happen in that exact order, but eventually they did win. And I like the story of, is this Billy Gunn's last rodeo? This is how you keep Billy Gunn in the spotlight without overusing the veteran, while still showcasing the young talent, still pushing the new guys. So love the Claim. Everyone loves the Claim. Good job. I rate this about a 7.5.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next match, we have CM Punk versus Samoa Joe,
For the Real World Championship.
the Real World Championship. What do you
I
think about
thought it
this
was
match?
I felt like it was a WWE match.
I feel like we've seen this before.
Like I've seen this before somewhere somehow. And
CM Punk, definitely still wrestles kind of the WWE style for sure.
and it's like Samoa Joe, he knows kind of the WWE style too. So it's like, you know, they I'm not sure if CM Punk was actually supposed to get cut open. I think he got busted got busted open the hard way when he got hit with the in the announce table.
Well, under
But
the announce table, they had like,
yeah,
that's their announce table is weird. I can't even lie. They had like the covering in the bottom, and then it just looked too elevated off the ground. Like,
yeah.
it definitely didn't look like people were intended to get slammed through it.
It's
But
it's like they put fake glass there. He was like, "Yeah, we gonna put fake glass here," and then he still got hurt because of it.
right, right. No, I definitely think the blood was intended. Um, but Samoa Joe was whipping his ass.
Samoa
Like,
Joe should have came out as Sweet Tooth though.
Yeah, S3E3. Nah, at least maybe not in the full makeup and stuff. Maybe something like
Like his gear.
like his gear or a headpiece or something when you come up. We need to up the spectacle. That's it. Like that's my only complaint. We need to up the spectacle for these
We
matches.
need, we need a bit
Special
of
gear,
attractions.
special attractions, right? Jericho came out with his band Fozzy. He sang himself to the ring. That was dope. That gave the feel of this is a big show, but it's Jericho. How
We
many
need other
we
people stepping
sing
up.
him to the ring on a weekly. We make it a concert on a weekly. We need this for other talent. Like they need to
Other
be
talent needs to
showcased.
step
Like
up.
this is it. This is the show of the year. Like let's up the spectacle. That was my only complaint. Match wise, you can never go wrong with AEW. Honestly,
They
content,
gotta
what you're gonna see,
they gotta
there's
up their
something
personality.
you're gonna say, "Oh shit," a couple times. But as far as this match goes, it kind of did feel like it was a WWE style match. No weapons. The only thing that happened was him putting him through the announce table. He got cut, or whatever, underneath the ring. I mean, underneath the table, comes out bleeding, left a pool of blood that we were like, "What the hell is that?" We didn't realize the moment he was dripping that, and it just looked like a poo stain. We thought
Oh man.
CM left a poo.
Yeah, CM Poo.
We thought CM left a CM poo. Um,
Hashtag CM Poo.
and then the blood was like all over his trunk, so it didn't help the case. So we actually had to rewind it a little bit. Like, when the hell did he bleed there? Oh, okay, he did bleed there. It's not CM poo.
Hashtag CM Poo.
Focus
Put
is a
this
little froze. You're a little
put this
frozen.
nah, I'm
Focus.
not nah, I'm seeing you froze.
Yeah. So technical difficulties aside, um, last thoughts. What do you think about the match? What do you rate the match?
I would rate the match like around 6. It wasn't all that, but it got you there. You know, I'm happy that
A little bit above average.
I'm happy that the Acclaim got the titles and the House of Black go on together and other things.
All right. So next up, we got FTR versus the Young Bucks, which this became the new match of the night for me. Outside of the death match that we saw, FTR versus Young Bucks definitely one of the best matches of the night. Story wise, content, the amount of falls, shit. There was a point the Bucks kicked out of the Shatter Machine. I got up and I walked away. I was pissed. I'm like, okay, y'all been through every freaking move just now. You kicked out of the Shatter Machine. I think that's the first time I see somebody kick out of the Shatter Machine. I don't know if somebody fact check that, but I think that's the first time someone kicked out the Shatter Machine. That shit got me out of my seat. Back and forth action, super kicks galore, uh, power drivers left and right. Focus, was this as over rehearsed as you thought it was gonna be? Because that was
Yes,
the comment you said in the prediction show.
yes,
You felt it
it's
was all over
definitely.
rehearsed, but was that detrimental to the match,
No, I
or
think I think it was. I think it made it pretty good, and it was one of their best matches for the Young Bucks and FTR in general. I think that's why they waited to have this match until they had like 80,000 people there, and it proved that this probably should have been one of the the final matches. If not the world title, this should have been it.
yeah, this was definitely a good match. Story coming out of this match,
I mean,
FTR
the
goes
story been going on for years, so it's been building up and building up. This Adam Cole and MJF, you know, it's
no
been
no,
going on
but
for a couple months.
no, I'm talking about FTR and the Bucks.
Yeah, the
Coming
story,
out of this match, the
okay.
story is FTR goes to shake their hand. The Young Bucks leave them hanging. So after 3 matches, 3 classics, arguably, and all these years built up, them saying F the revival, FTR stands for fuck the revival. That's where it originally came from. They ended up owning it and making it their own thing in AEW when they came over. But after all this time, all these years, the rivalry between promotions, them coming over here, 3 matches, you still don't give props. So this, I
It's
think the
messed up.
commentary
It's
hit the
messed up.
nail on the head. This is going to be a rivalry that's going to like withstand the test of time. Like they're always going to be
Now
the
we're gonna have to wait
rivals,
for All In 4.
right? A year later, we give you respect,
No,
but
I mean like 3 All Ins down because it's gonna be
oh,
a
three
long
all
ass
ins, right,
rivalry.
right, right. I'm thinking
Three,
it's yeah.
because it's gonna be a long ass rivalry. But they're never gonna give us the match. They're just gonna keep on teasing it and teasing it and teasing it. And the next thing you know, out of nowhere, Tony Khan's gonna book it because suddenly these four individuals are somehow not suspended during the show.
I think they're gonna end up being rivals to like their Hall of Fame.
It has to be.
like still fuck the Bucks, still fuck the revival. But like I said, this was my new match of the night, my new highlight of the night. I give this a 9.
A
I think it
9.
was damn near perfect.
Do you think you would have gave it a 10 if it was at the Tokyo Dome?
No, the dome didn't. The actual crowd didn't matter in my decision for it. It was just the match quality at the
Right.
end of the day. Like there was minor things that could have been done a little bit better, but overall the match was really good. Is it a classic? I think it's kind of similar to the last couple matches we've seen between them. It was
Is
it's
it's like
we
Rocky.
expect a lot of like more on the case of the Bucks. I feel like we kind of expect what they're gonna do, and it's largely on the other team that alters the style of the Bucks. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We expect super kick parties. We expect Nick's you know face plant flip
Into the
to the
moonsault.
outside.
Into
Yeah,
the moonsault.
like we expect that spot all the time. FTR, I think, is a classic tag team that can wrestle any way with anyone. So I feel like FTR kind of carry this. And as far as the Young Bucks, they could have probably done something different, added a little bit more flair to their arsenal. The way that they hit the Shatter Machine to finally win it looked ridiculous.
Right.
Definitely go check out that match. I'll give it a 9. Um, any last thoughts on that?
Nah, it was great.
All right. So next up, we have the women's fatal 4-way. We have Paige, Hikaru Shida, we have Tony Storm, and Britt Baker, DMD. What do you think about this match?
I actually enjoyed it a lot.
You
Like
enjoy-
a lot more than what I thought I was gonna enjoy it. I thought it was I thought the story build up between Tony Storm and Paige was really good, and I think the right person won.
Yeah, we kind of went over that in the last show we did. We ended up saying we thought Soraya should win. It was the right move that to make for Tony as far as home crowd, story as far as redemption, coming back from her neck injury, maybe never being able to wrestle again to end up winning the title. That was kind of like a foregone conclusion. Like that made the most sense to pull that kind of feel good victory. But like you said, the storyline within the match, I called that shit. There's no way two partners, especially in the fatal 4-way situation, for the biggest prize, are gonna be able to coexist without something happening.
Especially
Should,
since one has a hometown advantage.
exactly. And if anything, Tony Storm versus Soraya became the highlight of the match.
Yeah,
Sheeta, I'm sorry, Sheeta, but she faded. I can't remember
she
anything that she
does.
did in that entire match that warranted her to be the champion going into this match. And two, being showcased in the way that she is. Can she give you a good match? Yes, she does give you a good match. But nothing she does is memorable. There's no character work. Britt Baker, awesome. Great character work. You want to see her win. Not only that, her her arsenal is well packaged enough that we look forward to her match. Her style. She's unique. Sheeta
She
is
could
like,
talk.
she's not giving me anything. She's just there. Sometimes she's wearing a different outfit. Sometimes she has a kendo stick. Other than that, she didn't give me nothing in this match. I can't even credit the score to Sheeta's role in this match. The best part that Sheeta had in this match was being in Britt Baker's lock.
And then the lockjaw.
That was like the best part Sheeta took place in. Saraya and Tony Storm carried this match. Britt Baker did what she does. She's great. Sheeta, unfortunately, is someone who fades away in this situation. If she's not the spotlight as champion, there's no investment there. She got lost in the shuffle in this match. I
She
give
definitely
this
got lost in the
match
sauce.
about a 7.5 just for that fact. But story wise, having Tony Storm and Saraya, you know, start off on the same page, start off as friends in the match, then realize, hey, this is for the fucking title. They start going in it. They stole the match, stole the rest of the
They
match.
still, yep.
Tony Storm gets to the point she's about to break her neck on an exposed turnbuckle, which needs Ruby Riott, the third member, to come out. Stop, her neck. Tony Storm ends up hitting Ruby Riott. Ruby takes it, walks away. Build another story, collapse the stable, brought a new chat. This is what we need. Like development through the match, a lot of things coming out of it, a lot of spinning plates. That was the great aspect of this match. Sheeta brought that score down for me. This was easily like an 8.5
Something should
and
have
up.
happened to Sheeta. Sheeta should have got kidnapped or something.
Somebody should have whooped the ass or something. Something should have happened to her. She should have did something to somebody. All I remember is her being a
Somebody should
victim.
have debuted it or came back and just whipped her ass real quick.
Right. Something. Because she was not a highlight in this match.
And then
Paige
just take it out of
ends
the
up,
whole match.
Saraya. Keep calling her Paige.
AJ.
Saraya ends up winning this match. New champion. She had, got the redemption arc. She came out to Queen. We will rock you. Awesome. More of that. More of that. That's what I'm like. We need more. And is the music was a great touch, but we need more theatricality with it. But great match. Any last thoughts on that one?
No, I think this was way better than what I thought it was going to be.
All right. So now let's move on to what we said was the best match of the night. MJF versus Adam Cole, baby. What do you think about this match?
I think it filled every it did all it checked every check box that you wanted to have in a match. I felt like it could have done more narrative, to be more like other storylines, but I understand that, they don't want to go certain routes in certain ways and such. But, I feel like, it was good to have MJF win, but I had that, Adam Cole was gonna win and cheat him out, but it is what it is.
I think the fact that they didn't go the typical fuck it, we're gonna screw each other out, and they actually kept the friendship intact was the best part of the whole story of the whole match.
Yeah,
They both brought it to each other. Both had moments where it's like, yo, I'm gonna hit him with the ring, or I'm gonna do something to him, and they couldn't do it. They're going through the emotions. We even have Roger Strong come in, try to encourage Adam Cole, hit him with the championship. Adam Cole can't do it. They try to earn it legit. These guys go to a draw. Repeat that whole story from the first match they had against each other. Awesome callback. Best way to do it. Arguably, and I said it in the moment, they on their bloodline shit. With that story, you're on your bloodline shit. That is arguably you you can compare that to that. The build that they did for that was only what, like 2 months? But you were already so invested. There was so much storytelling in the ring. Every moment mattered. That is what I'm looking for. Best match of the entire night. And this is why I couldn't even grade the first match on the show for the tag team championships, because it was a package deal. Like I said, that match was going to influence the main event, and it did, because now you got the other spinning play. They're tag team champions now. They're about to
Yep.
screw each other. They solidified their friendship even more. Adam Cole, you know, did everything in his power to win that championship. They came to a draw, did that full circle moment. MJF decides, fuck that. We're going the whole way until there's a winner. Something we would have
Yep.
never got out of MJF before this story.
With a double clothesline as well.
I don't know how they're gonna get the double clothesline in the one-on-one, but yeah.
That's how they defend each other with a double clothesline.
Oh yeah. That's actually true. They went to clothesline each other, but just like you said, it checked every box: action, drama, suspense, the story, coming out of this. You called it. We didn't believe you. We didn't think it was a possibility. The Kingdom ends up showing up. They
But
didn't interfere into the match like
they
you
should
said
have
they
done
would.
something.
But the Kingdom is now involved in the storyline. It This was how you booked the damn show, Tony. You did a great job. A lot of people doubted it. I had my doubts, but he pulled off an amazing show, and showcasing MJF and Adam Cole the way he did, bookending the pay-per-view, uh making the story like the crux of this pay-per-view. I think that's really why they knocked it out the park.
Yeah.
They had a lot of gimmick matches, the casket match, the death match. I'm not even gonna call it a freaking stadium stampede. Death match, among other things. This was what we needed. This is professional
This
wrestling.
this card catered to every type of wrestling fan that there can be. So I feel like, it's one of their best cards.
Yeah, whether you lean towards AEW style, WWE style, you center in the middle.
It's
This
it's
definitely gave
it's
you
still
everything.
it's still kind of mixed match, as and they need to explain more storylines, have more video packages and everything. But it's still pretty good.
See, now the video package they did for CM Punk versus Samoa Joe, that's what the fuck we need. They showed the history going back all the way to Ring of Honor. They showed the intense rivalry, the stakes. We need more of that. More of that.
Yeah, because they don't show that with Eddie Kingston and Claudio, because where's their footage of having a
Yeah.
long
So me not
history.
really knowing anything about Eddie Kingston prior to his little stint in Impact back in the days, which he was just a face in the background to me. No offense, but AEW put him on the map for me. So I didn't know shit about their history. I didn't know that um Claudio and him had rivalry going back that far, or it
Yep,
was
with
such a
Ring of Honor and
hated
Chikara.
rivalry. I didn't know nothing about that. And they need to showcase. We haven't watched everything. Everyone can't watch everything. So
You need to have those reminders, like WWE always has those reminders. They always drop those video packages that explain how we got here.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, you
So
put some Creed in the background or something.
the Eye of the Tiger and shit. um Overall, what do you grade the show?
I give it a B.
A B?
Yeah, it wasn't all that, but it had its flaws, but it was still executed. And besides that little scuffle between Jungle Jack Perry and CM Punk, I think everything was well contained, and
At least it
they
didn't leave a shit stain on this event like it did
yeah,
last time.
yeah. So,
That
but
that
we'll see what happens. Um,
all out is next week.
all out is this week,
Oh well,
this
yeah, this
weekend.
week now. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with Wednesday Night Dynamite, and hopefully we'll get to see what kind of matches, and we'll do some kind of preview, or they could just make everything on random for all out.
Shit, at this point. At this point, I mean, some of it felt a little random, some of it felt booked really quick, you know, but overall good show. I'd probably give it more. Maybe if we're going with the letters, I'll go with like a B plus. If we're going with the numbers, I'll give it like a 9. Um, some of the flaws that I pointed out didn't hurt the show as far as watchability. These are just things that I wish that they would improve on. So it's a flawless product, Nothing's perfect, but we can make those changes to make this even better than it is now. But great show, historic numbers. Even though I'm a fan, I really don't give a fuck about the numbers. I just want entertainment. I just want to see good shit happening on TV. So
More
hopefully
death
we get more of that.
matches.
Like
More
Focus
death
said,
matches.
we'll see what's going on. Hopefully, as soon as we get the card and see the finalized product,
Hopefully we get
we'll
some
get
more
these
death matches.
we get these predictions. Oh my god. I think I need a little space between me and another Mox Kebab.
The Max Kebabs.
On that note, we could do this all day. Follow us on YouTube, everywhere. You listen to your podcast. We're
Like,
everywhere.
share,
Check us out.
subscribe
Kayfabe
everything.
Ab. What was that?
Like, share, subscribe everything.
Yeah. Like, share, and subscribe.